Matty Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play. Option Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Good morning,
Happy
everybody.
Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Yeah, neat.
Gold continues its ascent. Had a decent yesterday. Market. This has been a boring week. I'm just going to be honest. It's also a fall break, so I'm just paying more attention to just
Palladium.
the little things in life. The little things in life, like Palladium.
Yeah.
Yeah, boring week. Give me I got a long
Pretty boring
gamma.
week.
I got a long gamma. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's do something. Like even yesterday, it just I hate really technical markets, and we're in a really technical market, and it just is a reminder when you're in a technical market that when it actually moves, eventually it will inevitably. All these people who are trading technically like this just get crushed, because you can watch kind of market profile people trading to the tick of futures and stuff like that. Those are the guys that's small time money. That's just trading indicators, just trading charts.
Yeah.
And they're going to get crushed when JP or whoever wants to just start selling.
Would you say it's been like watching market profile and some of the other technicals? Would you say just since President Trump got in office, it's a little more difficult because it doesn't go maybe according to the book as much?
Well, April for sure.
Yeah.
It's actually, that's the funny thing. It's actually more annoying. You think about Trump like, oh, it's volatility, things like that. But then you'll get in these periods like 2017 was a Trump year.
Yeah.
And the most boring trading maybe in the history of vol.
And Dan, didn't you say that some of your best ever calendars, did I remember that right? Some of your best ever time spreads or diagonals calendars were in 2017. Am I making that up?
Yeah, I just remember, my memory gets worse, but I think December of 2017, I don't have a chart in front of me, but I remember the VIX was around 10, right? And people were putting on double calendars, and it was like, it was like the California gold rush for about 6 weeks. Because if I remember, in that December, the market was kind of going up, 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 up. You had that 10 volatility. Then it came back down. But yeah, that period seemed really good. 10 volatility. And you wouldn't normally think 10 volatility would be good for calendars, right?
But those shorts were probably not that sticky.
Well, you're right.
That's where you're going with that.
Well, you're right. And but I think, right, I was just thinking of something a few seconds ago. You've got this on one hand, Troy, you have this, and Matt, you've got this, okay, market's pretty dull. But on the other hand, you've got these certain stocks in the S&P, which might make up 37% of it, that it's rock and roll, right? I mean, like a day like yesterday, the market's kind of quiet. Can we go down more than 25 points in SPX? But you look at
NVIDIA up too.
Right. SPX, but some of these ones, I mean, gold, some of these that
Meta up too.
Yeah. And Meta's been beaten up, but it's like, if you want volatility, do you venture to the dark side and start messing with some of those? But that would be more speculative. That's not your, double calendar or your iron condor. That's a different.
I mean, it could be, Dan. It could be.
Well, you're right. It could be. Yeah. It's just.
I just don't have the patience for, like.
You're right.
I mean, again, this reveals more about my personality than anything else. But man, once you got a taste of some of that 0, 1, 2 stuff, when you go farther out with equities, because you have to collect more premium because they're smaller.
Yeah.
It's like watching paint dry.
No. Well, wait, that's right. When you come from the world of DCs doing 1, 2, 3, 4 day, the thrill is gone for the other stuff. It's like,
the thrill
what are you
is
going to
gone.
do? And you don't get any other thing, right? Most of those stocks, do they have, some of those are just weekly, right? They don't all have daily expiration, do they?
No, the majority of them have weekly, yeah.
Although, Troy, you've talked to some people that are involved in trying to make this 0 DTE thing happen on other tickers, yeah?
Yeah, so at the OIC conference, Options Industry Conference, I think NASDAQ put out a paper exploring the idea of 5-day-a-week expirations. And it's really interesting inside the business to hear who wants that and who doesn't want that.
I mean, we're just headed towards a world. I mean, you hear these Vlad from Robinhood and talk about there's so much volume right now in derivatives, and it's probably not going to slow down. I'm not just talking about options. I mean, derivative products in general, and you can already kind of future around the clock, but expanding options even more than it is right now. I just think there's going to be more and more of these products that come out. If people are trade them, I mean, Dan, you could probably speak to this, but I'm guessing if there's a demand, the market makers, the brokers,
oh my goodness,
the regulators will fill that demand.
They would love it. And I would think, like, I mean, my 2 cents, or maybe 1 cent on the whole matter would be, okay, just take your 10 most liquid, right? Option, your NVIDIA, your Apple. I think it's kind of useless to put it in some of those. I mean, it still could help, but some of the ones that don't trade a lot of options,
right,
to give them daily.
Yeah.
I mean, that just is like, good grief. But I think there's enough stocks that trade like water that it would really get the juice. I mean, volume would tick again. People would love it in Apple, NVIDIA, Tesla, those GLD. I mean, that would jack up the volume. And then I think a lot of the people who do a lot of the 0 days, like the OO community and others, why not? I mean, you're right. You still don't have a product like SPX, $6,000 type thing, but there's some, you can get some $400 or $500 stocks with some good volatility and make it interesting. With 50 volatility, you'd play, right? $500 and 40 or 50 volatility, it could could get Troy involved.
Well, yeah. When if you throw enough at me, it's like Vegas. If you throw enough at a well, now I'm not a well financially. I mean, just from a fat perspective. If you throw enough at me, I will show up. But I feel like, the other part's interesting. I would love to know, and I don't know. I would love to know what open interest was when Tesla was trading it. I mean, how high did they get before they split?
1,000.
Yeah, well over 1,000.
Well over 1,000.
I think 1,200.
I think you're somewhere around.
NVIDIA was like that. Netflix, I think, split at some point. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's in their interest to split.
It's in their interest, but I wonder. This is not provable, but I wonder if it actually changes the type of trader who starts trading options in it. Because I know people who would trade Tesla like it was rut, pre their split. They would do a lot more calendars, things like that. Whereas I think when Tesla went down to like 200 or something, I just don't know if it gets the same type of traders. I wonder if it gets more scalpers at that. That's a great
point. I agree with you. I think the ones that are doing more spreads, even more size, your active traders, a lot of them are we had some and they stopped trading when some of these splits came in. But on the other hand, you could say when the splits come in and it's cheaper, now it opens a wider net, right? Instead of more your special, people doing spreads, everybody can jump in, right? And put their bet on the table.
100%.
So
100%. Well, speaking of putting our bet on the table, we are not sponsored by Stanley, but if Stanley wants to sponsor,
reach out
a financially responsible options derivative show, we're your guys. And I think this is the right choice for Stanley. Again, I can't force anything on it, but I think it'd be the right thing to do. So just reach out.
And also coffee, if coffee wants to sponsor us, I'm guessing, is that what you're drinking, Troy?
No, I'm not drinking coffee
All right.
now.
I'm
just kidding. I'm drinking coffee. That's
if
my
coffee
favorite.
wants to sponsor us, reach out. Coffee Inc.
Yeah.
The old vodka in the Stanley coffee mug trick of 2025.
A little shot of Bailey's to help everybody wake up. Yeah.
Little shot of coffee with your Bailey's.
Yeah.
I was messaging with some folks this morning and just took a brisk walk. I'm still in my walking gear, and it's in non-freedom units, it's 8 degrees Celsius here.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the 40s in freedom units. So it's chilly. It's enough that I looked for some gloves. I couldn't find any. I just did the old.
You Rambo'd it.
I did the old thing like this. You just walk like this.
Rambo'd
that's
it.
right. That's right.
Listen, I'm gonna have to get an enclosed porch or something. Like I'm gonna have to, because I will continue to smoke cigars probably. Statistically, the chances are high that I'll probably keep smoking cigars, but I'm a little cold man. I mean, Dan's in here. Dan's this morning, beautiful shirt, one of the most beautiful shirts I've ever seen.
It's the fall wear of Options Omega, the fall wardrobe.
Right. But he doesn't have a jacket on. Meanwhile, I mean, I'm sitting here layered. I am layered up, and I'm still cold. So, I've talked about this before. 40 hit, and I started getting real. I really think for Christmas, like, I think Option Omega jackets, like heated jackets, like those ones with the little battery pack in it.
Yeah. How about, do they still have parkas? Parkas?
They do have parkas. Big in England. I would love to have a parka. I'd love to have a Noel Gallagher Oasis Option Omega parka available.
Wow.
So anyway, so we started talking yesterday. We showed a double fly. And I mean, we had some spirited stuff going on in Option Omega land talking about this double fly. People putting different types in. Some diagonalized it. Some did some crazy stuff. We're going to probably spend Monday talking about it too, but I wanted to just focus on one this morning just to kind of get our heads around our shoulders, I think is the saying. So, no, I don't think you can get your head around your shoulder. I don't know. Well,
it's worth a shot.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said, but we'll show it now. So this is Louis Shift. I mean, this isn't Louis.
Shout out to your back test. Thank you.
Yeah, shout out Louis Shift. Louis Shift always comes in strong.
Yeah.
You know, we have really a world-class team of back testers, and very proud of you guys. But this is my favorite thing to do, is to not show anybody these tests before I put this on here and then ask them to explain it. So, Matt, what are we looking at here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the VIX. We're up like a dime. Not that exciting. Sorry. It's a double butterfly, but here's what's different. This is a 1 DTE double butterfly. That's what's jumping out at me, fellas. Again, I think it was Greg yesterday who, shout out Greg, if I am getting this right, who said, I love this on principle. And I'm going to echo that. I love this on principle. I love what Louis did with it, because this is the first time I've seen this. Okay. So this is a raw hot take, but I'm thinking what's happening is you probably have more times when both trades exit with the leg deltas, and you have that because you're giving it an extra day. would you be so kind of scroll down to the trade log, Troy, and check out some of these leg delta exits? And are there any leg delta exits that are for a loss? I'm guessing no. I'm guessing they're not going to be. And okay, so you could, if you had a, let's see, did that just really move past it to the upside? Yeah, just, I mean, small losers. But in general, yeah, there's some other, below deltas at 932. You might have one that's close to break even. But I think in general, the idea is, what's the win rate? Is the win rate? I think yesterday we were barely over 50.
No, we're 59.
So yeah. So this gives, you're basically giving both sides of this to win. The Batman, as it was, the Batman, right? This is what this is our modeling tool.
The Batman.
Here it is in 3D.
Yeah.
That's what's coming out, a modeling tool. And that's what it looks like, because you've got these two flies.
And so it's a high delta kind of, right? 40 delta.
Yeah. And so these are, these are, depending on strikes, these could overlap kind of significantly. Yeah. Depending on vol.
So this is the interesting part to me. And this is this is a nice thing about modeling, is you kind of see some stuff.
And shout out again, Louis. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great job.
Yeah.
So you go, you look at it and you go, okay, it's a double butterfly. But this is where it gets interesting. I want to show you the model of it and ask you, is it a double butterfly? Because this is the model.
It looks like a plateau in New Mexico.
Yeah, it's really like a split strike, but I call it split strike butterfly, or it's an iron condor.
It's a condor. That's exactly right.
Condor. Yeah,
I mean, it's a condor. And why is it a condor? Well, because you are going in the money with both of these longs.
And just a heads up, Troy's smart viewers will notice it's 3 DTE on this because today's Friday.
That's correct.
Oh, so you're saying that the tool would automatically move it to 3?
No. I saw that this was, you're not using exact DTE in this test.
Okay.
And so if you're not using exact DTE, and you open this at 342 today, it's just going to find Mondays, I believe.
I got you.
So,
that's right. Which is, I mean, in my opinion, the right way. That's the right way to set up this.
Well, that's how you get Fridays. I mean, that's how you get Fridays. Otherwise, you're going to always be missing out on Fridays. So, but the interesting thing about this is it is kind of like a condor. I mean, it's a broken wing condor in some ways, because you have more loss to the downside. But, it's the same kind of thing that's going to happen, with the same thing that's going to happen with the condor. What's interesting is, you start out negative delta on this, right? And thus your green line. So a test like this is interesting to watch what's happening, because when you first put it on, you actually are a little bit negative delta, but those deltas change through time, where at the money, you actually get, as time's expiring, really positive delta. Because why? Because you have a higher, your loser will be smaller to the upside. And so those deltas are going to adjust, and you want, you don't want to be near this side, basically on the as you approach. And that's just the way the deltas are set up in this test. You could adjust that.
Yeah.
And
you would just do these separately. I mean,
yes,
it's no big deal to do it. Just like, you would do, I think what Rob's asking, good point. You would just do the call butterfly or put butterfly first, and then within the next minute, do the other side.
Or if you're automating them, you could just do two separate.
Oh yeah, like Matt said. Yeah. I mean, it does
because they're not. Yeah, they're not actually related to each other at all. It's just that the time. So solid point, Rob, and that's one of the nice things is You can, the whole back testing more than 6 legs, we did that because a lot of people wanted to back test setups kind of like this, where if they had, without setting up a portfolio. And the cool thing is, if you have a back test like this, it's really 2 separate strats. You're really just doing the setting up in a single back test versus a portfolio is just, you can iterate on it so quickly.
Yeah.
And with automation on OO, you just make it 2 separate strats. So,
Yeah.
no big deal.
Can I say one thing on the Greeks?
Please.
I mean, you have like kind of a contradiction, but it's really not. I mean, like Troy mentioned, okay, this is about a $2,600 trade. You're starting out 13 delta short on a 1 contract. And you say, well, is that a lot? And I would attest, no. It for a 1-day trade, is the 13 delta is a big problem. And if you asked me on this on a 15-day trade or something, I said, well, yes, it's big. You say, why isn't this a big delta problem? Because the theta's huge, right? Yes. And so you can offset a 10-point move theoretically, with the big thetas over 250. So and as Troy said, the deltas change during the graph. So something that might be a double butterfly 1-day DTE, 13 deltas, no problemo, right? But if it was a 15-day butterfly, 13 deltas, I'd say that seems a lot, because your theta would be much different, right? And so, this is a interesting trade. It's funny, you don't always think of, when you're doing a back test and you're focused on a certain DTE. I didn't even think of 1 DTE. Sometimes 1 DTE is like the, do you remember that song in the Vietnam? Don't ask me why this came up in the Vietnam, where, 1 is the loneliest number, right? It's like
a classic.
Yeah, that was a classic. Who do you remember who did that, Matt? Was it, or Troy?
That's
I have a guess. I don't think it's right though.
Oh, that is a Three Dog Night. Was that?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I'm gonna Google this.
Three Dog, but I would say
actually, chat. Who was it? Save us a Google.
Yeah, save a chat would know.
I'll give you a hint though. It's the same band that does "Da-na-na-na-na-na" and the Deep Blue Sea. Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
There it is.
He was a good friend of mine.
Is it Three Dog? No,
I think something Dog Night. Something.
No, Three Dog Night's the right name. I don't know if it was that.
It's Three Dog Night.
Okay.
You don't even have to Google it.
Well,
would you guys notice in the OO community, in terms of trades, would you say 1 DTE is, or do a lot of people do 1 DTE, or would that be kind of neglected a little bit?
The great question. So I think this is just my perception on the trend, and this is anecdotal. This is not evidence-based at all. So this is a non-data driven. This is anecdotal, observational. But 2022 was so good for 0 DTE premium selling condors. It was, you could make a really ugly back test, and 2022 is just very merciful towards it. And, a lot of people, myself included, have experienced getting gamut on 0 DTE condors. And so I think a lot more folks do 1 DTE condors now than used to, or 1 DTE trades in general. And here's what's interesting. Question: when you're doing a zero DTE trade, how much do the Greeks really matter? Like,
great question.
They do matter, because I just said you get gamut. Like, I think sometimes people trading condors don't 0 DTE condors, most popular type of option trade. And you could argue that it's both a feature or a bug of the trade, that it doesn't really require folks to have a good knowledge of the Greeks. And what's interesting, and I was going to make this comment, is even just switching it to 1 DTE, how much more important the Greeks are. Switching it from 1. And here's the thing. 2 DTE would be, 2 DTE would be just as reasonable. Like, I would be I really like, what I like about this structure is what you guys said. This is like a condor. And I have traded many double condors iron condors. I still do sometimes. I just don't enjoy the getting the feeling of getting stopped out, even if it's automated. I just don't enjoy that. I like the concept of this because this is basically functioning the same way, but it's in a debit setup, right? Like it's in a, you can know what your loss is going to be with,
Right.
with this kind of thing. And to the point, the comment, take SPX expiration gamma ain't no thing. That's true depending on what, and that's how I trade today. But there's a lot of folks that trade condors with very, very wide wings. And indeed, gammas, when you're trading a nickel wing or even a dollar wing, and your shorts are $3 or $4 or $5, that's a huge amount of space. Most people are sizing that, inferring that they're going to get stopped out rather than the risk being the width of the spread, which is what the risk actually is the width of the spread. But I'm in the weeds now. Point is, I think 1DT is more popular, Troy, than it used to be.
Glenn says Harry Nelson wrote and performed it originally, but Three Dog Night popularized it. Thank you, Glenn. And I would say,
I didn't know that. Okay.
While we're at Harry Nelson,
who's Harry Nelson? Harry Nelson?
Nelson, I think. Do you guys know the song? I would argue it's his most popular song, Harry Nelson. But I made my children listen to this so much. If you had to guess, what's the most popular Harry Nelson song in Troy's household?
I'm looking, so I'm not going to guess. I don't know, but
we put the lime in the coconut.
No, wow.
That's not what I was going to guess.
Yeah,
I would never have.
We listened to that song when they were babies so much. Anyway, Harry Nelson is an interesting. He's got some bangers, but he was not well known. He was interesting, but like Paul McCartney, a lot of his contemporaries. He's one of those guys, like an artist, where
they cover a lot of covers. Yeah,
a lot of people had a lot of respect for him, but he never really got big play. Anyway, so back to this real quick. Back to the old grindstone. When you're looking at something like this, Cool Dude asked, I don't see the deltas. It says leg exit, but where's the deltas? You scroll down here.
There they are.
And on the call side, you're getting out when the call goes below 60 delta. The short call goes.
What does that mean,
60.
Troy?
Well, if you're starting out at 40 delta with a call, you're starting out with negative 40 deltas, right? Is that if you just were selling a naked call, you sold a 40 delta call, you're starting out theoretically at negative 40 deltas. So what would happen if it goes to 50 delta? Well, if it goes to 50 delta, negative 50 delta, it means that your call is approaching at the money, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you're going 60 deltas, it means that your call has gone in the money by a little bit. And that's when you're getting out.
And the delta is going to change over time, right? But if you look at the last example on this backtest, it's a really good illustration. The calls were at 66.70 and it got out at on September 29th is the one I'm looking at. It got out at 66.75 and it got out late in the day on Tuesday. So just a little bit past the strike. And if you look at the puts, it was, this is again, a great example. It got out 6 points past on Tuesday, a little bit earlier in the day, and that's an above delta exit. So if you go back to the modeling tool, even though it doesn't look like Batman, those exits are right. I mean, they're right in under the peak of each side of the fly.
And if you wanted to, would you agree? I mean, again, the tweaking can continue. You could tweak it a little bit if you wanted to say, okay, instead of starting out a little bit short, which I don't think is a problem, you could even narrow the upside a tinge more and be neutral to slightly long delta if you chose to. That's number one. But the other thought that I had real quick, regressing a little bit, but going back to the Greeks, on these type of trades, when you get 1 day from expiration or 0 day, I'm not saying you can throw volatility out the window, but you can almost throw volatility out the window. This is a price move, right? Let's be honest here. What you get, you're running across the expressway at 4 p.m, betting your friend $100 that you can make it. Horrible visual. But I mean, when you're talking 1 day or 0 day, it's a price move. But when you have two different types of people, because they're all in the same, to me, they're all in the same family. If you have iron condor, double calendar, those type of trade, you're selling an out of the money call and put. I mean, that's what we're doing here. It's an out of the money call and put. It's a higher delta, but it's a different feeling, right? The debit transactions definitely seem to settle your stomach a lot better than, I'll tell you, I don't have the fortitude to do what Tammy and a lot of the credit spread people. Now, I just to make a buck to lose 8 or 9. Now, is there a way around it? Yeah. How does she and others make it extremely conservative and extremely to settle the stomach? You just have stops in
position sizing,
position sizing, but you can also have, hey, you sell, you're going to buy back the short call, the short side or the short call on the upside or short put on the downside, and it's very automated, right? And I think automation's the only way to do it. I wouldn't trust myself, right? Without automation on like 0 day iron condors, I wouldn't do it for myself because it's just too emotional, right? Whereas
I don't enjoy it like I used to, Dan. That's for sure.
it takes a couple years off your life doing it too, especially without, and that's where automation is just perfect. I think for trading. I mean, I think it's really will revolutionize, in my opinion, trading because, as I said, and not just 0 and 1 day, it protects people from themselves and their emotions, and it really is a positive thing, right? That you make less mistakes, and you think about it. You're creating a plan when it's quiet, and you're letting the automation take its way. How many times before automation, I'd make a plan or someone make a plan, but in the heat of battle, right, I would change my plan, or I would get distracted, or I would do. Automation's not going to get distracted. It's not going to get emotional on you or whatever. It'll get the job done as long as you can. And especially, what's the feature that Rusty put in? It's been a month or 2 months now, the one you can.
OTO. Yeah. I mean, it's a broker thing where what folks do is they put a spread on, usually condor, and the close of the short on a stop loss will trigger exiting the long to recoup some of the money. So
okay, and that's been a wonderful feature.
Yeah,
for a lot of people doing those credit.
Love it.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've got some ideas, and we're gonna do one more of these on Monday, and see if we can get this thing above 2 MAR. I think we can. I think we can.
Well, and there's interesting comment. Is a put butterfly even profitable in test? I think it just barely. And here's what the back test still doesn't have. It really doesn't have a rail. So you could put in a rail to once it moves a certain amount, or you could use a stop loss. I mean, I think your slippage is going to be not great live on doing it with a stop loss, but you could have some sort of rail to try to get, if it moves too far out of the range, because it's actually kind of impressive that
the deltas do that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's still a rail for it to expire. There's no rail for it to expire 0.
That's the kicker.
Because going the other direction.
Some of those losses
on one of the, I mean, ideally, one of them will ideally, I mean, your dream on this, like your dream is that you have movement at the end and both get delta exited, right? Or you have movement at the end, one gets delta exited, and then it moves back and sits under the other profit tent, right? Like, is that the most profit you can get from this? And what I'm saying is just something to where if one of them is going to zero, is there a way to get it out and get something out of it? So,
yeah, but when you say that, I mean, you're making your most money. I mean, because you're giving up. See, and here you're not giving up the middle that much, right?
Yeah, that's true. So is it? And this is maybe
I'd rather
too late.
Yeah, it's too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Well, listen, this double fly is fascinating. We're going to revisit it. Thank you, Louis.
Well, listen, speaking of it's too late, I've got to go use the restroom because the side, it doesn't even fit on the screen. So anyway, listen, have a great trading day.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. And so guys, we're going to have to do a public thing because we didn't think about this. I'm going to go ahead and say that to celebrate, I mean, the new world was created out of a sense of adventure. And Monday is Columbus Day.
Oh, yeah.
And so I would say we should probably do a show just in honor of the spirit of adventure.
On Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do it. We'll figure it out. Might be a shorter one, but we'll put out some bangers because my wife doesn't necessarily always share my spirit of adventure when we should be working on days that we're off. But anyway, so with that being said, you guys have a great trading day, and we will